A grim scene out here in Suffolk County as dozens of workers, some in Tyvek suits, assist in killing off more than 100,000 ducks. It's because of an outbreak of H5N1, the avian flu, now confirmed by the health department on January 17th.
Unfortunately, when you have a situation like this, where you have a flock that's infected, the remedy is to put the entire flock down.
For the owner of Crescent Duck Farm, Doug Corwin, it's the loss of an entire life's work here in Aquabog. Crescent, established in 1908, is the last standing commercial duck farm on Long Island.
The video you just watched is just one out of countless examples of a livelihood shattered, a business decimated, and animals having their lives cut short. This is the H5N1 Prevention Initiative. But what even is H5N1? Well, H5N1, avian influenza, or bird flu, is a disease that we've been battling through decades. Normally affecting birds, it's been catastrophic behind the scenes, but we're now being able to see it more as it's affecting the economy, our food supply, and even infecting humans, which is why we're now seeing it in the headlines. But I want to talk about why I'm doing this H5N1 project in the first place. Well, I'll just start off by saying I love birds. I've incubated ducks, I've raised parrots since I was very little, and I've worked on many farms and animal sanctuary programs with all kinds of birds, from chickens to quail to birds of prey. I love these farms and centers so much and know how detrimental it would be if H5N1 was to infect their bird populations. There's also limited information being put out in schools, and that's concerning to me as a generation that lived through coronavirus. H5N1 is extremely important and affects all of us in some way, such as the egg shortage. But the truth is, my grandfather might be the biggest influence for me on this project. He worked at the New York hospital as a general surgeon, and everything changed for him the minute a peregrine falcon landed outside his window.
I think his office was on the 23rd floor. A nurse came running up to him, and they knew that he was a bird lover. And the nurse said, "There's a bird out there eating another bird." And she was horrified. Grandpas immediately went and he recognized that this was a peregrine falcon. Then that bird, Red, stayed there for 13 years.
And after that, in 2007, my grandfather wrote a book called the Montauk Trilogy with 3 novellas. One of them was called Smew, and was about a town that had been infected by H5N1, and everyone had to come together and defeat the virus. This is almost prophetic. It's pretty similar to what's happening now, and this inspired me to continue my grandfather's work in informing the public about H5N1 and the dangers it could pose.
One of the unfortunate situations is that it's here. It's prevalent throughout our country now and other places in the world. As a matter of fact, just in New York State alone, I think the prevalence is almost in every single county in the state now. Mm-hmm. And there's probably up somewhere in the area of about 60 different species of birds that have been documented. Everything from a small little songbird right up to a bald eagle have been documented to have avian influenza, basically.
And when we take a look at the statistics, it's concerning. Almost 170 million poultry have been affected. There have been 70 confirmed H5N1 cases and 1 confirmed H5N1 death in the United States as of April 2025. So why does this virus cause special concern?
COVID was a virus that lived in animals, and it was designed to live in animals because they probably infected that line of animals for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. So it was designed to spread well, but not kill. Killing is failure. But all of a sudden, this virus jumps to a new organism based on, and viruses reproduce by getting into your cells and interacting with your DNA or RNA. So it's really a designer, almost like a designer weapon to get into you, spread, reproduce. So when you go from an animal to a human, all bets are off. That the way you develop together is a fail because you're not developing together. So what may not kill a civet or a monkey or a gorilla might kill a human just because we're evolutionary, our genetics are different. Panicked? No. There's no reason to panic over this one at this point. Be intelligent, get vaccinated.
So personally, I think it's a huge deal. And it's something that's going to be here to stay. And so, with just the natural mutations of viruses, the different strains keep coming. And that's just naturally how viruses work. So it's something that we're going to have to really take into consideration with just the way we operate from here on out. It's not going to go away. It's just going to be part of our everyday.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a serious issue, and it's not one that's really going away. It tends to have peaks, highs and lows in its severity. So right now we're at a high, and it will eventually, I'm sure, go down, but it doesn't disappear.
H5N1 is here to stay, and awareness is everything. So, how do we make people aware? The answer lies with bird centers and sanctuaries. The role bird centers and sanctuaries will play is the role of an intermediary. The government is actively putting out information about H5N1, but this service doesn't necessarily always hit the public. Bird centers and sanctuaries can help by taking this information and disseminating it to their engaged communities. People who visit bird centers and sanctuaries love birds and want to know more about them. So when they hear about H5N1 from the sanctuaries, the hope is that they'll take this information and spread it to their friends, families, co-workers. It's a domino effect. And throughout my research, I was able to speak to several other bird centers and sanctuaries who told me what they were doing.
We are monitoring what the guidance is that's being put out by the CDC and the National Wildlife Disease Program, which is part of USDA APHIS. And then we try to pull the stuff that's relevant to wild birds and backyard birds and make that available to people.
At the Nature Center here, we do get a lot of questions about bird flu, and we do our part to educate people on the risks of it, the threats, but also what you can do to prevent the spread.
We've gotten stuff directly from the Department of Ag and Market, the DEC, so we use their literature just because they're our governing agencies. Then, flyers, signs around your area, giving talks about it, attending different talks to learn more is that's the way to go. Knowledge is key.
These centers are all finding ways to get information out to the public. In the future, the hope is that they will be able to use all kinds of different preventative strategies and measures, learning from each other, gaining new ideas to put a stop to the spread of H5N1. But it's not as simple as a snap of the fingers for the changes that we hope to make happening. These things do take money and do take time. This is exemplified by the Sharon Audubon Center and Green Chimneys.
At least for us specifically, be able to have a facility that is set up to be able to properly quarantine will allow us to handle this for, as long as we keep rehabilitating wildlife.
The Sharon Audubon Center hopes to make a wildlife rehabilitation and quarantine unit to provide expert care for the approximately 800 sick, injured, and orphaned wildlife patients admitted annually. As the region's only facility of its kind, demand for its services is heavy. Green Chimneys Farm and Wildlife Center is also fundraising for their own H5N1 preventative endeavors.
Our next step here is to enclose our large pond. So this, hopefully in the future, will eliminate those wild birds coming in, landing, and infecting our animals. So Green Chimneys has started a big fundraising event for the money to be able to do that, because we're looking at, $50,000 to $100,000.
There is good information out there. So I think just spreading that and being able to have, reputable resources, providing that information to people is going to be the only way for everyone to understand the gravity of it. So it's something I think we need to stay on our toes about and not get complacent with.
If you're interested in stopping the spread of H5N1 and supporting these bird centers and sanctuaries, please donate to the GoFundMe, which can either be found on the QR code here or by searching up the H5N1 Prevention Initiative and documentary on GoFundMe.com. All the proceeds will be split between the centers and sanctuaries in this video. Thank you so much.